Okay, question number 2. Somebody was asking about, they were talking rates, and they were asking about basically, and Dan, this is going to probably fall in your wheelhouse and mine a little bit more than MJ's, but they were talking weddings, and if they have a wedding budget, how much should the DJ basically, I don't want to say command, but basically how much of that wedding budget should be invested in the entertainment or the DJ? And I've kind of thought about this and dug into this a little bit over the years, and I want to get your thoughts on this before I jump in and share what I've been come up with on this.
As much as the couple wants to spend for their percentage. Now, I mean, to me, it kind of depends and stuff like that. I will say this: I saw. And I don't know if this was where this question actually maybe came from, but Thomas Heath today brought up a very good point. It was within the past couple of days. I saw it on Facebook where he said, you got to think about what it is that you're doing. So, for example, are you just the DJ? Meaning you're not emceeing, you're not doing much of anything, you're just the DJ. That is a percentage. There is a gear rental, which works into your price. Are you helping with planning? Are you doing, the equivalent of a wedding planner or even a percentage of what the wedding planner is? And so therefore then you add into that. And so in his conversation, it went from being the idea of, I've heard, DJ should be 5% of the total budget. It was the magic number I always heard.
That, yeah.
His worked up to, between the gear and the MC and the wedding planning that you might be doing, 15 to 20% of the budget. For me, that's like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could, break it down to that way. But I also, in the same respect, that first thing I mentioned is, as much as the couple is, I've done weddings where I've been 20% of the budget, based upon what I've seen. And I've done ones where I've been 1%, and my price has been the same for both. It comes down to what they're kind of viewing as the mentality of it.
And that's probably the direction with the charging and the rates and I don't care what their budget is for the night, truthfully. It doesn't matter if we're going to be in their backyard or we're going to be in a fancy venue. If I'm having to do more, bring more things, then it's going to go from, this fee on up as we add whatever is needed. But I've had those experiences just like you were referring to, Dan, where you're the most expensive thing there. And you're already a high part of that. And those events were fabulous. We had a great time. I really didn't realize it until later that, wait a second, I started looking at this and it's like, it was a potluck. There's minimal there's that. I think I'm the most expensive thing here by about, over everything. And that's fine. It's really what I think they want and what they are wanting to put their focus on. So a percentage, I don't think there's a rule of thumb unless you can say that, every wedding in my market's $20,000, which isn't the case. Most of my weddings are much less expensive this year for the clients from the standpoint that they've cut their guest list back tremendously. In some cases, they're down to about a third of what they would have been 3 or 4 years ago. Well, that means that their budget is less, for if nothing else, just through that attrition of the guests who they're not inviting. So it's really, really difficult to put a number and a percent together. I looked at it this way, is that this is what it costs for me to produce a show. This is what I want to, in essence, make for a profit. This is my time, whatever. I want to make $4 an hour for my time, whatever it becomes out. That at the end of the day, this is what it's going to be. This is the minimum for what it's going to cost for me to go out. And if that happens to be 1% of their wedding budget, so be it. If it happens to be 60% of their wedding budget, so be it. It's not my concern. I just go out there, and for the folks who want me, there we go.
I think where some of this stems from, though, is the idea that people want to have an idea of where to belong within that. And so trying to get an idea of what I should be pricing myself as, and that kind of thing. If you are always doing, this type of a wedding, then you might want to think about, okay, and I'll just use that 5% is what we always heard as kind of that way to say, okay, this is that ballpark value. But again, what are your expenses? What are your pieces together? And make yourself that valuable piece. And then, as John said, if you're 60 or if you're 1, it doesn't matter. It's the money you're bringing home, not the percentage of what it was.
And you guys can go to youtube.com/discjockeynews, and then you do a search there. That's our channel. Do a search for setting price. I believe that will pop up the videos that we've done on that. There's some shorter videos out there. It literally went through the math of how to set that. And I think, as you're saying, Dan, that's what this really stems from, is that people who are like, I don't know where to even price myself because I don't want to leave too much money on the table, but I don't want to overcharge. And I get that. But you've got to have a rationale for what you charge. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go and charge $100 because $100 seems like a good number to me. And it seems like, wow, it's way more money I make in my day job, whatever, I'm just using bad numbers here. That doesn't work. You've got to have a thought process and the business plan and all that kind of garbage, but you've got to have a reason behind it. You got to have a reason behind that. So, excellent. All right, so let's jump to the next one. The next one, MJ, is going to be one that you'll be hitting with us. So we'll be right back.